Hello, everybody. I'm sure there'll be someone out there who gives a fuck. So, time to get into a little bit more about my process for y'all upcoming writers who want to be writers. Take my advice. Take it with a grain of salt here. You're gonna be. When you become a writer, you'll realize more of your emotion than you really thought. You know? Trying to find something that makes sense, and then you think of it. And you slowly start to put it together, you know? And it's like. It depicts you. Like it is you, you know? So, I swear, it's. Let's get rid of people who irritate me. So, basically, what I start with whatever I think about when I'm in writer's block is what motivates me. We all know what motivates me, but like, how do I use that motivation? How do I turn that motivation into inspiration? We all got, cars got fuel, but like, oh, that's great. You got gas. That's cool. Now, how does that go into the car, and what in the car makes that turn to energy? You know what I'm saying? How does that make the car go? Alright, you got this step right here. We got your motivation, alright. So, what's my inspiration? What inside the vehicle inspires that motivation to become something, to actually go forward in life? You know? That's what people don't think about. Alright, I got my motivation, but still, you get stuck, yeah. So now, what's your inspiration? Usually people are given inspiration, Alright, you're this lone widower, you're crying because your wife, blah, blah, blah. Alright, that's cool. That's what you're trying to inspire me to do. That's what I'm trying to, you know. But what's my motivation? Your wife's dead. Yeah, I get that. That's, what I gotta sort it through. But what's my motivation? You gotta be motivated if you want to be a writer, actor, whatever. Musician. You got to have motivation and inspiration, you know. Your inspiration is your passion, You want to be a singer? All right. You want to be the best darn singer ever. But then it comes to writing songs, and it's like, what do I write about? All right, think about your motivation. What happened to you that made you want to be a singer in the first place? Some people want to be like, I'm a loser now, but I'm going to be famous. That's your motivation. You know? Some people, it's a girl. Big cliche, but, for me it is too, a little bit. That's your motivation. So you need to have both motivation and inspiration. So I have my motivation. I want to write something to let, China May know that I'm all for her. That was a good hit. That was a shitty hit. That was a good hit. So, I usually don't think of the title till after, because usually if I think of a title, the lyrics end up being something different. Now, I'm not talking about a song, I'm talking about like a poem or something. For example, how would I even word how I would describe her in a poem? Something that she could probably more easily understand. Women just love those things. Um, well, first of all, maybe you could take a separate sheet of paper and write down what she means to you, you know. To me, she's my motivation. A pure source of enlightenment, you know. What is a pure source of enlightenment? And don't hesitate to use big words, man, if you know what they mean and you understand how to use them in that context, you know. I'll use terms way off topic, but the metaphor I use them in makes sense, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand comma splices too. You really do gotta understand English literature when you want to become a writer. You really do. It helps you be able to uh, better mold it to be more unique to you, you know? Like you have your own print, your own writing style, you know? Uh, there's a difference between Stephen King's style of writing and James Patterson, you know, completely different dialogue, completely, it's unique to their writing capabilities, you know? But first, you gotta understand how to write a basic essay, you know? You gotta learn that. I'm not saying that I didn't not pay attention, you know, I didn't pay attention worth a damn, really. But, I still, took, I listened, I just didn't really apply it to what they wanted me to do. I applied it to what I wanted to do, you know? But I always loved writing assignments because it gave me the opportunity to be a little cheeky with my wording, but still, get a grade for it, you know? And they usually compliment me, with my writing style. It's like, wow, that's like I wrote a sentence that the teacher said, why don't we try to simplify that though? That's like a mouthful. I mean, I wrote like 5 words, 6 words, but I used a couple big words. And I pretty much wrote like 5 sentences in one. And he's like, all right. I mean, I'm glad you abbreviated it, but let's try to break that down. Let's try to simplify it a little bit. Sometimes you gotta extend what you're saying to simplify it a little bit, make it more clear, but we were just trying to shorten it, literally. And then he's reading it and he's like, I mean, I can shorten this sentence, but it's not gonna be as descriptive. It's not gonna explain as much as you explained here. Here you touched on like 5 points in like one sentence, but like any way you try to simplify it, it's gonna only touch up on one or something like that. It's like he couldn't make it better. I'm like, I agree with you, teacher, but the way I wrote it, is the way I want it to be said. But I agree, I agreed with him, man. I wish I could like simplify this a little bit, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I wrote an entire essay using the only once. I mean, that's not uncommon, using only one specific word once. If you know how to use comma splices properly and use other words, Now, I'm a typical rhymer, so I rhyme each line. You don't have to. You could just depict a metaphorical story, which works too. It's like using Vietnamese words and, or foreign language words in place of certain words, so it's obviously not going to rhyme because the words that would rhyme in English don't rhyme in, another language well. So, and the thing is, you don't really want to explain who it is right off. They want that sense of, wow, this could be anybody, But it's like, it's handed to them, this could be for anybody, but, you chose to hand it to me. If you include their name, that's great, but it's a little too obsessive. You're focusing more on them because when they hear their name, they hear their look, they see their image, and they think you're just looking at them for them. I mean, you can use their name, but you got to use it appropriately. You know, they don't want to be. They want to know what you feel emotionally, not about that. You know, they want to hear what you think of them. They don't want to hear about really them too much, but how they make you feel. They know who they are, you know. You don't really want to sound redundant, you know what I'm saying? So what is a pure source of enlightenment? From in all aspects, delightment. Bring in all aspects delightment. I also have kind of like a slam poetry type texture to it. You know, a sweet one. He's bring in all aspects, delightment. So, what is a pure source of enlightenment? Bring in all aspects, delightment. So, you know, I have a moment style, definitely, kind of like slam poetry texture to it. And then a lot of people might think, well, how's that really? You know, you're just saying, wow, she makes you horny. That's nice. Wow, you appreciate her intellect. You know, she makes you feel like, you know, in just those two lines, I'm saying, what does it mean to be a pure source of enlightenment, too? You know, you gotta understand what you're talking about. Like, it's really sweet, you know, but it's like, do you even understand what that means, though? What does it mean to be a pure source of enlightenment? Like, you have a lot to learn from her. Like, she provides to you another aspect of life that, she brings you new meaning to life. You know, that could be good or bad, really. But I also stay pure, which is a key word for, typically. But it could still be pure hate, it could be pure love. And then that's when you kind of tie it together and say, bring in all no, bring in all aspects, delight, bring in all aspect. Yeah, I forgot an S there. At the end. Put asbest. Bring, bring forth. I mean, you could be a little bit classy too, and just be like, bring forth, comma, in all aspects, comma, delightment. You know, I might do that, or I could just say, bring in all aspects. You know, and cut down on my wording. But some women like that fancy wording. But, you just gotta be sure to put the right punctuation in, and you can add just. It's amazing, just adding one word, you have to change the whole sentence. So, what is a pure source of enlightenment? Bring forth, in all aspects, delightment. What am I saying there? I'm telling her, hey, in all aspects, every part of my life, whether it's I'm sleeping, whether I'm awake, whether I'm doing work, whether I'm dreaming of you, you know, you just bring forth a glow to my life. You just bring me like a rush of dopamine to my brain, regardless of what I do, just by you being there, a thing. Just by you. You yourself are a source that, like, just speaks to me without speaking. It's just, I know. It's like code when you send it from computer to computer. It's instant. It's just like, you have a thought, zooms right to mine. Yeah, that's good, Gotta write that down, you know. So what else could I say? You know, I already made my rhyme. I could go on, continue rhyming the same thing, or I could just use another set of rhymes. You know. Uh, your name alone, a sassy being. You know, if you want to bring some philosophy, you know, if I'm writing this about China Mei, you know, her name in Chinese translates to flower dragon. You know, I mean, when you think of a flower dragon, you think of a dragon of flowers, right? You know, a being that's beautiful, but a dragon, you know, is feisty a little bit, you know. But you don't want to say feisty, you know. You know, your name alone, a sassy being, you know. You know, remember your comma is your name alone, comma. You know, and then unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing, you know. And then using smaller words like I am not, as opposed to construction words like I'm, you know, sometimes writing it out more makes it seem more elegant, you know. I am not, you know, it makes it sound more empirical when you write it out fully, you know. Unless you know what you're doing to make it sound good, even though you're using words like I'm and stuff, you know, as opposed to just writing it out like I am not fleeing, you know. I'm saying, unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing. You know, you gotta be able to back up your choppy sentence, you know. You want to tell her, like, word for word how you feel about her, you know. Usually, abbreviations of any kind come from using bigger words that mean multiple words, you know. So, I mean, right here we got what is a pure source of enlightenment? Bring forth in all aspects delightment. Your name alone, a sassy being. Unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing. You know, and it makes sense, you know. You know, it's a little bit choppy in wording, but you know, like I said, I'm a moment style writer. You know, I just write what I feel at the moment. You know, I don't feel an explanation of it. I just feel what I feel at the moment. It's not till later do I understand and am able to explain it, you know, fully. You know, I gotta be able to take time and study what I'm going through, you know. I hate these so much. I hate camels. That one was a Pall Mall. I prefer. I don't know, some about camels just taste nasty. And but yeah, just right there, we got stuff to work with, you know. Um, and then you could be metaphorical and say sweat of passion eludes from my face, eludes from my. Hold up. You get writer's block sometimes. Uh, I'll usually go on like 5 poems at a time, you know, just and I'll finish probably 3 out of 5, you know. I don't always work on one project at a time. Is the thing. Like I could go on another one right here and then think of a line and be like, "Oh, that's perfect for this one, though." You know. but it's best to try to stay on one work at a time. But once you really get into it, it's like your mind gets scattered a lot. So, unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing. Um, and then we could say something like, how could we say we're just perverted? I'll make even just blatantly saying you're perverted. Lips so luscious, my mind mischievous, or something. Lips so luscious, mind mischievous. You know, or lips luscious, teeth vicious. Say she's feisty. Forgetting to mind your teeth vicious. No, bite vicious. Forget to mind your bite vicious. Now that could be one you put a comma in between forget to mind and your, forget to mind your bite vicious, or forget to mind your bite, uh, forget to mind your bite vicious. It could go either way, but, I like to have it choppy a little bit. It slows it down a little bit. Forget to mind your bite vicious, or forget to mind your bite vicious. But we're gonna do comma splice all through. We're just gonna do comma splice. Forget to mind your bite vicious. Due to your lips so luscious. Or your lips so luscious. Uh, that could be a common one too, or not. You don't have to. So, what is a pure source of enlightenment? Bring forth in all aspects delightment. Your name alone, a sassy being. Unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing. Forget to mind your bite vicious, your lips so luscious. Your lips so delicious. Yeah, let's cross that out and put delicious. We'll put that just above there. And I'll usually make about 2 copies. I'll usually, put like rough at the top or something. And then I'll do whatever. I'll put rough at the top and then I'll put the title underneath, whatever. I just like shook that whole thing off. So, what is a pure source of enlightenment? Bring forth in all aspects delightment. Your name alone, a sassy being. Unlike the rest, I'm not fleeing. Forget to mind your bite vicious, your lips so delicious. I shall let any amount. Uh, Pure of heart, I'm no megafont. Meaning, I'm pure of heart, you're definitely not in love with me for my looks. No, megafont. Megafont means big and noticeable. Pure of heart. I'm no aesthetic megafont. Pure of heart. I'm no aesthetic megafont. And then you can have some, longer. In there. I mean, and then, you get a little sophisticated with some of your wording, and like I said, megafont alone, if you just said I'm no megafont, alright, you're not big on what, what? So you gotta explain further, I'm no aesthetic megafont. And that could be left up to interpretation metaphorically, that itself is a poem line, aesthetic megafont, Uh, alone that would mean, like someone who's definitely showy, definitely. I just pretty much wrote my own uh variant of ostentatious, I just created my own word, my own meaning using two other words that really had no relation before to a specific meaning. Here I mean aesthetic megafont to mean ostentatious, good looking. So definitely not that, and that's how you put a little bit of sophistication in your writing by knowing words, knowing how to use your comma and some words. If you want to add, like I said, bring forth, I would have had to add some commas and stuff, which I'm gonna put that in there, so I'm gonna have to leave those in there, when I go to rewrite it. But I hope I helped y'all get the gist. Let's see how many lines I got even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. And I always like to number them so I know. So if I'm like writing a book, I can be like, man, I just need about half a page. How many's here? Da da da. Alright, that's about half a page, Because like 26 lines to a page. So, roughly. So it's like, alright, that's good, that's good. That's good enough for me, we'll do that. So I hope this helped y'all, a little bit with your writing. I figured I would do this video to show y'all a little bit, or to tell y'all a little bit about, why you need to pay attention in English class, man. I mean, you'll make it far in life, man. Just pick a class you pay attention in. And trust me, you should pay attention in all classes because you can do something with each class that's basic that you don't even need startup money for. You can just go out and do it. But you gotta know the basic criteria, you gotta know that. So I hope this helps. God bless you all, man.